Section 1. What is SQL? Your key to talking to data. Imagine a giant library. This library is filled with millions of books, all neatly organized on shelves. Now imagine you need to find a specific book, or maybe a list of all books written by a certain author. You wouldn't just wander around hoping to find it. Instead, you would go to the librarian and ask for help. You would use a specific language to ask your question, like, "Can you please find all books by Jane Austen?" The librarian understands your request and brings you exactly what you need. This process is very similar to how we work with data in computers. In the digital world, data is stored in databases. It could hold information about students in a school, products in a store, or videos on a streaming service. To communicate with this database, we need a special language. That language is called SQL, which stands for Structured Query Language. SQL is the universal language we use to talk to databases. It allows us to ask questions, add new information, and make changes. Imagine we have a database for a school, and inside it, there's a table called Students. This table has columns for first name, last name, and grade. If you wanted to see the first and last names of every single student in the school, you would write a simple SQL query. The query would look something like this. Select first name, last name from students. Select says you want to get data. First name, last name specifies which columns you are interested in. From students tells the database which table to look in. You can also add a filter to your request using the where clause. What if you only wanted to see the students who are in grade 10? It would look like this. Select first name, last name from students where grade equals sign 10. While asking for information with select is important, sometimes we need to change the data itself. SQL gives us three main commands for this: insert, update, and delete. Let's start with insert. This command is used to add new information. Imagine a new student, John Smith, has just enrolled in our school. We need to add his details to our students table. The command to add John Smith would look like this. Insert into students, first name, last name, grade, values, John Smith, 9. Insert into students tells the database that we want to add a new row to the students table. The part in the first set of parentheses specifies which columns we are going to fill with data. Each value corresponds to the column we listed. So John goes into first name, Smith into last name, and 9 into grade. Now what if we made a mistake? What if John Smith was actually supposed to be in grade 10, not grade 9? We can use the update command. To change John's grade, our command would be update student set, grade equals sign 10, where first name equals sign John and last name equals sign Smith. The where clause is crucial here. It ensures we only update the record for the correct John Smith. Finally, there's the delete command. This command is used to remove records from a table. Let's say a student has left the school. We would need to remove their information from our database. For example, to remove John Smith's record, we would write delete from students where first name equals sign John and last name equals sign Smith. The where clause is extremely important. Without it, the command would delete every single student from the table. You might be thinking that SQL is only for computer programmers or data scientists, but that's no longer the case. In a world driven by information, understanding how to access and interpret data is becoming a fundamental skill, much like reading or writing. Learning SQL opens up a new way of thinking. It teaches you to be precise, logical, and structured in how you ask questions. A marketing professional could use SQL to find out which advertising campaigns are bringing in the most customers. A store manager could track inventory and identify the most popular products. A researcher could sift through massive data sets to find patterns and make new discoveries. You no longer have to wait for someone else to run a report for you. With a little bit of SQL knowledge, you can dive into the data yourself, explore your own questions, and uncover insights that others might miss. Furthermore, learning the basics of SQL is surprisingly straightforward. The core commands we've discussed, select, insert, update, and delete, form the foundation of the language. They use simple, English-like words, making them relatively easy to remember and understand. You don't need a degree in computer science to get started. With so many free resources and tutorials available online, anyone with a bit of curiosity and a willingness to practice can begin to learn. In summary, SQL is the key that unlocks the door to the world of data. It is the language we use to communicate with databases, allowing us to ask for information, add new records, make corrections, and remove old data. By learning simple commands like select, you can retrieve valuable insights, and with insert, update, and delete, you can manage information effectively. This is more than just a technical skill. It's a form of literacy for the 21st century. Learning SQL can boost your career, help you make better informed decisions, and give you the confidence to engage with the data that shapes our world.